This car hasn't been there for a while.
He's already, if he goes through the mounting and cost, he's already been doing it before.
speaking ungrammatical French. So what was that?
There's a Rowley's at the end of this road. That's this.
I just said to open my
That's what you guys say.